Okay, we are going to go ahead and get started here. Thank you all for joining us this morning for a data exchange webinar. This morning's webinar is titled Growing with Your Data, Evolving with Machine Monitoring. And we are going to be discussing some topics and features that I kind of introduced last month and going into those a little bit further about how you can implement some of these data exchange features into your daily routine and thusly evolve your shop floor with them. So first off, I'd like to go over our order of events for this morning's webinar, starting off with a recap of last month's webinar and how this month's webinar adds to that. Next, we are going to be discussing how data exchange fits into your daily routine, and then what needs to be defined when starting with data exchange and what problems you are looking to solve, as well as what other problems can be solved with data exchange machine monitoring. Following up on that, we will be discussing how machine statuses are defined within data exchange, and then we will end the webinar by discussing some of the feature sets in data exchange, which include notifications and messaging templates, the operator data interface, and then saved and scheduled charts, as well as saved and scheduled reports. In last month's webinar, we discussed the different data exchange applications, as well as the data exchange offerings for managerial levels of employment, including permissions, security, and how you can define users and user groups and what they are allowed to access within inside of data exchange from the data display managerial options. We also discussed licensing levels, their provisions, and use cases for manufacturers. Specifically this month, we are going to be discussing useful data exchange features that can be implemented into your daily routine after getting started with data exchange. So what does the daily routine look like with data exchange? Now, there's a lot of different topics and tenets on this slide that I'm going to be discussing, but once you have them implemented into your daily routine, you will notice that your shop floor is going to be improving with some of the shop floor woes that you are looking to solve with machine monitoring. And a very broad one that we like starting off with and telling people about is that the collected machine data that you get from data exchange is supposed to be made meaningful to your shop floor and your day-to-day operations. And one thing that's very nice about data exchange is that everything is 100% user-defined. So what you are looking at in your charts and dashboards is supposed to be indicative of the specific problems that you guys have on your shop floor and how reporting these things and showing you some transparency about what's going on in your shop floor can help you solve these issues. Now, we also have saved and scheduled charts that I'm going to be discussing. And saved and scheduled charts can be implemented into your daily routine by going into let's say, a production meeting or a Gemba walk with, being prepared. And you can do this by, having a saved or scheduled chart sent to you on a recurring basis. So if you have a production meeting about the previous shift, you can walk into that production meeting well informed about what has happened in that given shift previously or in any other kind of demanded time frame. We also have reports, and our reports are in many different formats. And previously, these reports were only found in the desktop configuration application for data exchange, but they, as of the latest release, can now be found in data display, the browser-based reporting tool. And reports can be saved and scheduled as well to kind of streamline your machine monitoring reporting experience. We also have notification and messaging templates I'm going to be discussing in this webinar. And notifications are good for when you have a machine that's been in a downtime or a work order that is getting finished or a predetermined threshold of your needs has been crossed. And you'll get a notification in either a Microsoft Teams text message or an email alerting you of when this threshold or when this threshold has been crossed. And you determine these by rules that you set for sending these messages. Next up, we have our real-time dashboard. I've previously discussed things like the equipment view in the real-time viewer. And at Scytec, we advocate for your real-time dashboards to be hung from a TV in the ceiling or on a tripod out on your production floor or in a break room, or you can also then remotely monitor them via a computer or any of the useful free reporting applications you can get for your mobile devices on iOS or Android phones or tablets. We also have CNC Machine Connect, which gives end users the best digital twins possible. So if you guys have Vericut out on your shop floor and you work in automotive or aerospace, you have the ability to access any of the 3 different modules in CNC Connect, which include pre-check, the CNC machine monitoring live streaming feature, as well as post-check. We have individual webinars concerning all of this stuff I just went over as well. We have 2 different webinars with specialists from CG Tech going over the 3 different modules as well, which we encourage you guys to check out. And then finally, we have our ODI usage, and ODI is meant for shop floor operators inside of a cell to ensure that you guys have the correct machine statuses for things that cannot automatically be collected by your machine, so that you guys have the most accurate OEE information that isn't skewed. Next up, we're going to be talking about how you start off your machine monitoring journey with Scytec DataXchange. And to kind of give you guys a good idea about how you can start tackling your problems out on your shop floor, we do encourage you guys to look at some of our published case studies, which are both in written and video format. And you can find those on our website at scytec.com/DataXchange case studies. And we've had clients that have increased their utilization by 15%. They've won new business. They've gotten full data visibility and accuracy. They've seen decreases in downtime, increases in productivity, teamwork, shop floor processes, as well as starting off with a immediate increase of 10 to 20% increases in utilization, followed by then a 30% increase with further data exchange uses, as well as increases in data-driven decision-making, increases in capital saved, decreases in cost per parts, increases in part counts and utilization. So definitely go and check out what we have published for our case studies. And once you guys get a good idea of what others have achieved with data exchange, this can kind of give you a good idea of what you can achieve with data exchange. Now, last month we discussed different licensing levels and how Scytec actually advocates for new users to start off simple with the bronze licensing level, which automatically tracks cycle statuses. And that is basically what that boils down to is the bronze level can tell you if your machine is running or not running. But when you work your way up to some of the other licensing levels like silver and gold, you can start tracking other things inside of Data Exchange that can help alleviate some of those shop floor woes that you guys have. And some of the other things that you can track inside of Data Exchange include, as I already mentioned, the machine downtimes, which can be split into known and unknown and planned and unplanned downtimes. A planned downtime would be something like a lunch break, and an unplanned downtime would be something like a carbide breaking on a tool. You can also track machine uptime / utilization, if a machine has been cutting or in cycle, good and scrap part counts, real-time machine statuses, ideal setup times, M0 and M1 stoppages, operator breaks, alarms, and accurate OEE information that includes planned setup times, as well as a host of other things. So once you've implemented Data Exchange into your daily routine, you will start discovering patterns that can help eliminate production bottlenecks that you might not even be aware that existed. And all of this stuff, as I said, is 100% user defined. So what you're looking over there on that screenshot on the right is a screen grab of a real-time equipment view showing you the real-time statuses of a Doosan and a Haas machine. And this is what I said earlier that we advocate here at Scytec to have hanging on a, like a TV from the top of your ceiling. We have some people doing that. We have other people having the real-time views on a TV on a tripod in the shop floor or in a break room. And then also you have the ability to monitor these remotely. So what else can be solved with Data Exchange? And this is something that, you would like to define kind of from the get-go after you get set up and collecting information off of your machines. So you can also, with Data Exchange, you can increase utilization in OEE. You can win new contracts, get better quoting, meet deadlines sooner. You can also be dynamic with certain industry issues like a loss of talent, supply chain issues. You can get employee and equipment transparency. You can discover hidden bottlenecks. And maybe you just have a need for a collection of historic and real-time documentation for shop floor production metrics. Maybe this is something that is demanded by a contractor, so they have some transparency into what's going on. And maybe you just need better reporting that you can get from a typical ERP or MES platform. DataXchange goes way further into depth and detail with information that you can pull off of your machines. And then also, as well as I mentioned, if you use digital twin software like Vericut, we have our CNC Machine Connect integration that promises to give manufacturers the most accurate digital twins available. Now, something else I'd like to discuss in terms of, defining when you get started with your machine monitoring journey that is really nice about DataXchange is that, once again, everything is 100% user definable. So what we are looking at over on the right-hand side is a screen grab of our equipment status summary. So we have 3 different machines, the Mazak, the Doosan, and Akuma, and what their machine statuses have been in a certain time frame. So let's just say that this has been for a week or so, that we can see that that Mazak has been in cycle for most of the time. And then you can see the other corresponding machine colors and what they are representing over on that right-hand column. So we have tool, quality, no material, M0 pauses, excess setup, etc. And from the get-go, DataXchange defines these colors and what they represent as in cycle being shades of green, which can also detail things like high and low override, as well as machine warm-ups. Planned downtimes are in shades of blue, and they can show things like breaks and machine setup times. Unknown downtimes are in shades of orange, and then unplanned downtimes are custom, and that can be something like no material, maintenance, and alarms. So once again, everything in DataXchange is 100% user-defined and configurable. So you can change around these colors to whatever you would like, and you can change around the machine statuses for something that is indicative of what your shop floor needs to represent. As I said, the goal with DataXchange is to make the data meaningful to your shop floor as well as to your shop floor issues that you are looking to solve. Next up, we are going to be going over the feature sets inside of DataXchange that can help evolve your shop floor. First up, we are going to be discussing the notification features as well as messaging templates that then make up those notifications. So there are 3 main notifications inside of Scytec DataXchange, and you can get alerted instantly about a threshold that has been crossed or something else that has been met that has been defined by yourself via Microsoft Teams, text messaging, and email. And messages are sent to who you demand after events and thresholds you define are crossed or have been met. And at Scytec, we help you guys set these up from the get-go. You guys tell us what you guys want to be notified about, what kind of issues you are looking to solve, and we can help you curtail these messages and notification to fit your needs. There's also a bunch of pre-canned ones that are included with DataXchange right from the very start. And there's even some other alternative notification features that you can get from the ODI tablet as well. If you look in this left-hand corner, you can see a flashing GIF of a Doosan machine as well as a DMG boring machine. So once a threshold that you have defined will say for the for the Doosan machine, that after 15 minutes of unknown downtime, you'll get a notification. You can also have your ODI tablet start flashing so that would catch like an operator's eye, that they could see that they need to go out there and attend to whatever is going on with that Doosan machine after that 15 minutes of unknown downtime. We also have tier-based messaging as well for our notification feature set. So this kind of brings about like a notion of escalation that you can get with DataXchange. So I'm going to go over an example here of this, that if you have a machine that has been in a downtime for longer than 15 minutes, as I just mentioned, that would notify an operator. After 30 minutes, you could then notify a supervisor with a notification in either text, email, or Microsoft Teams. And then after an hour, you could then notify a manager. And this is all 100% user defined. So you could change this to a half hour, an hour, a day, whatever you need to do to make sure that your needs are met. And some use cases for the notification feature set inside of Scytec DataXchange include notifying maintenance if an operator has an issue with the machine, notifying certain users or user groups based off of an alarm type, notifying somebody when a machine's expected setup time has been exceeded so that you guys are you have the most accurate OEE information available, and then also to notify somebody when a machine is out of material. And these are just some examples. The notifications can be used for anything that your heart desires, anything that you are looking to solve in terms of shop floor issues. Now, messaging templates. Messaging templates, the configuration for these are done in the desktop application of DataXchange. And this is kind of what determines how the messages look like when they are sent. And messaging templates are universal and are triggered by default or your custom defined rules, allowing them to be dynamic and include information such as downtime detail and equipment names. So what we're looking at here is inside of the desktop configuration tool where you can set up your messaging template name, the subject. So when you get a email, it'll show you what is going on, what the actual notification reads as, and then the body of this. And this is something that at Scytec we do advocate for you to reach out to our support to help you set up these messaging templates. And what you are seeing in the top there is all of the different messaging templates that you have that you can select. Next up, we are going to be discussing the ODI, the operator data interface. And the ODI is only available on our silver and gold licensing levels. The ODI is a supplemental application that is used to view machine statuses and to manually enter data such as downtime reasons that you cannot automatically collect from a machine. And these are more for like the unplanned downtimes or for things that are extraneous to what your machine can actually collect via DataXchange. They can also track things like work orders, the active part number being cut, good and scrap part counts, and trigger events such as sending an email or text message. The ODI is available for desktops for free on the Windows Store, and is also available for free for smartphones and tablets on iOS and Android devices from the Google Play and Apple stores. Now, for those of you that have been DataXchange users for a while, you might remember that the ODI was originally included in the desktop application, but for new accounts created after August of 2023, the ODI is only available in those previously mentioned applications. So the ODI can be set up kind of like your real-time charts or your real-time dashboards as well, with a bunch of available different parameters. And if you look over there on the right, you have a screen grab of a equipment card from an ODI tablet. This is a Tsugami that you're looking at, and you can have these configured to your heart's desire with a bunch of different available parameters that I'm going to go over here, such as the status duration of the machine, the specific status of the machine itself, when did that status start, the amount of good parts that have been produced, the current part number being worked on the machine, the amount of scrap parts that have been produced, your part per hour percentage, which is the percentage of parts produced, good plus scrap divided by your parts per hour plan, the amount of parts per hour you are trying to get based off of your uploaded ideal times document, the current logged in user to the machine or the ODI tablet as well, your work orders that are currently active on the machine. And these are the parameters that you can have displayed on your ODI tablet. Now, some specific ODI usage that we advocate for here at Scytec is your ODI is not meant to have all of the machine in a plant be on its home screen the way that you could have with your real-time viewers. ODI usage is more meant for somebody that would be working inside of a cell for anywhere from 3 to 5 machines or something like that. Now, some of the other ODI usage that we advocate for here at Scytec is to have the best OEE information available. And you can get that via the modify timestamp for a status that could be entered incorrectly or not at all, where you can go and click that modify timestamp and you can retroactively change a reported machine status so that your OEE information is correctly reported. Permissions are also needed to be able to modify the collected data. That is something I discussed last month with some of the managerial usage and features for Scytec DataXchange. Finally, I'm going to be discussing the saved and scheduled charts as well as saved and scheduled reports. So what are saved and scheduled charts? For those of you that have been using DataXchange, you might know how to filter out all of the things that you are looking to populate inside of a dashboard. A saved chart, so let me step back there for a second. So when you would want to populate a chart with the stuff that you want to see presented, you would select the machinery, the time frame, the specific users or user groups, different plants, as well as different shifts. So you go and select all that information, and that could then populate something like an equipment status summary chart. The purpose of a saved chart is to kind of skip all of that filtering where you only do it once, and then that you can streamline that and have it accessed immediately from your data display launchpad, which you can see down in that image at the bottom. You can see all of your previously created saved charts, so that once you go in and do all this filtering, you can save that chart so you don't have to keep doing all that filtering. And you can see things like a equipment status summary from a specific shift or a downtime summary from a specific time frame. And as I said, this is something that you can implement into your daily routine so that you have these charts ready to go for a production meeting. And then you can get those saved charts sent to you on a recurring basis with the scheduled chart feature, where you can have them emailed to you at intervals that you define. So some examples of some saved charts. You could get a part count saved chart to ensure that quotas are being met by shop floor personnel. You could have a timeline chart saved showing regularly scheduled production, or for regularly scheduled production meetings, giving everybody ample prep time for the next shift. And then you could also have a saved and scheduled equipment status summary chart showing you the production metrics for the previous day that can allow you to kind of figure out which operators or equipment need focus. Now, we also have saved and scheduled reports, which follow a lot of the same tenets I just discussed for the saved and scheduled charts. This is a new addition to DataXchange. This is a feature that was previously only found in the desktop application, and kind of the forward trajectory of where data display is going to be taking features that were historically only found in the desktop configuration application and then adding them to data display, which is our browser-based reporting tool. So your saved reports are very similar to your saved charts, where you can do all the filtering of machines and users, user groups, plants, etc. And then you can have those accessed directly from your data display launchpad. And then thusly, once you have that saved report, you can then have that saved report scheduled to be sent to you. If you see that over there in that image in the bottom right-hand corner, you could have that scheduled to be sent to you on specific days and different recipients as well. And this can all be done and configured inside of your data display options. So that about sums it up for this month's webinar. Next month, we are going to be having a webinar for the people that we meet out at Scytec. That's going to be a startup guide. So if you've been kind of curious about learning how to start up with DataXchange, where to get going with things, this is going to be a good one for you as well. But this is going to be more so for the people that we meet out at Scytec. And then following up on that, in June, we're going to be having a webinar titled Getting the Most Out of Your Shop Floor Dashboards. This is going to show you how to properly use things like your real-time viewer, which we are going to be having an update for that soon as well inside of Data Display, which you can design your own charts inside of the browser-based reporting tool Data Display. Now, for those of you that are going to be attending Scytec, DataXchange will be there in booth number 5452 in Building 5 from May 13th to 15th in West Springfield, Massachusetts. So if you're looking to see any demonstrations for Data Display or CNC Machine Connect, the integration with their DataXchange and Vericut, please stop by our booth and we will gladly be we will gladly show you any demonstrations that you guys are looking to see. So that about wraps it up. Thank you all for joining us here, and we will be back next month for another webinar.